Well, I think that leads to our a segment we've neglected for the last few weeks. Our shit we couldn't make up.
Yeah. I'll go, you go, and then I'll
Yeah, we
go.
didn't talk about this. Why don't you do yours? I've got one, and then you can finish up with your second one.
Yeah. This one I've showed up in my Twitter feed. Apparently, disgruntled Yankees fan posted the Yankees left fielder position as a job on Indeed for only $15 an hour. So I guess that it's come to that the Yankees fans are now going to job boards to post position jobs for the Yankees to try to help them out. So
I love fan angst, but creative fan angst
is the
is
best.
great. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, get throw a bunch of swear words and disparaging remarks against the players you hate on your own team on Twitter. Big deal. Anybody can do that, but take it to the next level. Create a job opportunity on Indeed. That's brilliant.
Did you want to go with yours?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. With mine, of course, it always comes back to the Angels, it seems, as they took away our fun at the trade deadline by
Ugh.
pulling Shohei Ohtani off the trade market a week before the deadline itself, and then went for it by trading for Lucas Giolito, being buyers of the deadline instead of sellers, of course. And in that time, they have gone. Well, now they are 4-9. They were 2-9 from that moment of going for it, but then they beat your Giants the last two nights. So
Yeah.
your Giants are kind of ruining my narrative there. But
Yeah.
the idea that the Angels would go for it seemed perplexing and disappointing, just because everyone is ready to jump in on the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes before it officially happens next year. Just imagining the trade opportunities the Angels could have had, what kind of riches they would have brought back and prospects. But to get have the unicorn that is Shohei Ohtani on your team for 2 months to make a playoff run.
And you're not going to.
Yeah, they took that away, and now they took it away from everyone, even from themselves, by going on this slide. They are now 10.5 games out of the division, so that's
it's unbelievable.
They are 7 games out of the wild card. So they basically went for it and lost it within a week. And again, it just brings up what a baseball tragedy the Angels are by taking Mike Trout, number one, and then now Shohei Ohtani from the world of baseball, essentially. They will not be participating in the playoffs once again, just because the Angels are a completely inept organization. For whatever reason, they have the two of the greatest players of our generation, maybe of any generation.
Yeah.
They can't get to the fucking playoffs.
Unbelievable. Speaking of not getting to the playoffs, it's kind of fitting we've got two New York teams because we were both, Chicago was playing New York at the same time. Sox here and the Cubs are visiting the Mets, and the Mets as they dumped players and made trades, and not
After
only
spending $368 million in their payroll this year.
Well, not only did they get, players in return, they also ended up shelling out a lot of money to these other teams to take their players because of the high contracts. And the funny part about this is the current Mets payroll is they really gouged it, is 153.2.
Oh, after they've traded away Verlander and Scherzer?
Yeah, they are paying. I think they traded. I think there's a couple other guys that traded.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They are paying their players to play elsewhere $137.5 million, almost the same amount of their current payroll. I mean, if you want to talk, this is Washington Nationals territory right here. Because now Scherzer is getting 3 checks. He will be getting a check from the Rangers for whatever the Mets didn't pick up.
Yeah.
He'll be getting a check from the Mets, and he'll be continuing to get checks from the Nationals.
Well,
That
that's
dude's
amazing.
laughing. That dude is he's laughing all the way to the fucking bank. I
Well,
mean,
he's a world
unbelievable.
champion, so
Yeah, yeah,
beyond that,
he's gotten what he's deserved.
he
I mean, I'm not
wins.
saying yeah,
He wins on every level, but
but that's some shit you just couldn't make up, man.
I agree. I have heard you said they're paying for their players not to play for him, but I've heard other people phrase it as they are basically buying a farm system. They are eating those contracts in order to negotiate getting better prospects
Yeah, and
from
that's true. That's true.
it
Yeah.
is, but it's kind of I mean, it's really gross, and it's kind of something to think about going forward as Stephen Cohen is we're operating in a different stratosphere money wise than anyone else is, potentially, or at least he's willing to. Um, that's something I want to keep tabs on. It seems to be a kind of a new thing in that they got great prospects for 40 plus year old Scherzer and 40 plus year old Verlander simply because they ate so much money on their deals. So it
Right.
was palatable to the trading teams. But that was only to get better prospects, and they got great prospects back. So that might be we might even see this in the next collective bargaining agreement to see how that side of things works. But that could lead to a huge competitive advantage or disadvantage to other teams if that is a new paradigm where you can simply buy a fucking farm system by sell, investing, paying top players way too much money as the Mets just did, but it not really mattering just because he's a 16 Cohen's worth like what $16 billion. So who cares if he's eating $35 million, 70 million, 130? So what'd you say the number was total?
137.5.
Is it worth that to buy the best farm system and then maybe use those assets for whatever you want, whether it helps the club on the field or if those are trade assets at some point for other things, which I think is his big picture game, just to build up the farm system to trade those prospects away to get more proven players. So that's a larger conversation I just brought up, but I guess it's just interesting. It's something I'm wary of and something to keep an eye on, especially with the Mets and their nefarious ways.
Wordhole Media.